Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're going to be doing my Los Angeles Lakers offseason recap. Next week we'll be doing the season previews. But as we wrap up the last couple teams, the Lakers had a somewhat quiet offseason, but I thought it was, we all know it was overshadowed by Bronny James there. That's here nor there. I've said it before. Bronny James is this is what I'm going to say about this, and then we're just going to move on because I really don't want to specify it. As someone who was at the NBA draft combine, I've interviewed Bronny James. I'm the same height as Bronny James. Maybe I'm like an inch taller than him. He is a guy who is immensely athletic for being the same stature as me, being the same build. That he has a 40-inch vertical. He can't do that. I will put it up there. When he played in the scrimmage, he didn't look out of place. I think he's a guy that needs to spend some time in the G League, and an Austin Rivers, Avery Bradley mix, if I'm being generous, is best case scenario there. We're done. Now let's go ahead and you're not going to really see him. You will see him to give LeBron his father-son moments, but he'll spend most of his time in the G. Now, I do like their 3 two-way guys. They have Jordan Goodwin, who's going to fight for the final roster spot, which I think is probably going, if they're going to cut somebody, because the roster is full, like Quincy Olivari and Kyler Kelly and Jordan Goodwin are more than likely going to get cut. Christian Wood's recovering from an injury, but the bottom of the team is Bronny James, Jalen Hood-Schifino, Cam Reddish, Maxwell Lewis, and Jackson Hayes. The second unit is probably going to be Christian Wood, Jared Vanderbilt if he's healthy. Same thing with Christian Wood, Dalton Connect, Max Christie, Gabe Vincent. And then you're assuming starting lineup: Davis, Rui, LeBron, D'Angelo Russell. So as we move into the team and talk about what they did this offseason, what did they do if we're looking at the Lakers? Well, the first thing is they went out, they got it. Dalton Connect fell to them. He's going to be a guy, I've said it before, I think Dalton Connect can be like Tim Hardaway Jr. He's a guy that if you look at his game, I really do believe he has that microwave ability to just come in and have a decent shot selection from all 3 levels, can take over when he gets hot. He'll be able to show that he'll have the ability to get open in catch and shoot situations, and he's got some decent explosiveness to get to the rim when necessary. He's not going to be a playmaker. He kind of gets tunnel vision when the ball gets in his hand, and he has the size to be an okay perimeter defender. He's not going to blow anything up, but he's in the perfect situation to be a role player who'll catch and shoot to start out his career. Maybe impress people with his scoring ability from a young age. However, they brought in JJ Redick, and this is the same roster that lost to Denver in the first round of the playoffs that also returns 13 players. I mean, it's also a very similar roster to the one that made it to the Western Conference Finals. Now, the thing with this team is, in the era of the aprons and just money in general, can they capitalize with a roster that is the 5th highest payroll in the NBA and is aging? I think we look at the Lakers, and I think that as long as LeBron James is there, you're going to be a competitive team. However, this is a team that went 20-10 down the stretch. Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood are going to enter the season unhealthy. Gabe Vincent was unhealthy last year, so we don't know what he is. This is a group that underperformed last year. You're hoping JJ Redick is going to come in here and have some sort of Ime Udoka effect, right? And by the way, in the earlier conversation, none of those guys out of Jordan Goodwin are going to force anyone to be cut unless they're going to cut Cam Reddish or Jackson Hayes from the roster for him. But I don't see Jordan Good being there. And they have Gabe Vincent. And they've got Bronny James. They don't really need another point guard. But this whole thing is they're $45,000 below the second apron. And this was the whole thing. They're trying not to get put into juxtaposition with the second apron. I think they also want to give themselves flexibility to do a cap move if that's what they have to. I think that's something people aren't also realizing, that they probably want to avoid the cap. I do think there's hope that Maxwell Lewis and Cam Reddish, I don't know what to expect from Jalen Hood-Schifino. I've heard a mixed bag. I kind of liked him in the draft process, but mixed bag. But Maxwell Lewis and Cam Reddish and Max Christie and Gabe Vincent are all going to be guys we need to perform. Also, we need Jared Vanderbilt offensively to get back to what he was. I think his best season offensively was arguably the one with the Jazz, where he was like shooting like 33% before he got traded to the Lakers. But he was like putting up great numbers. Even in the season where he was with the Timberwolves, that first year, full season, where he shot 60% from the field. Yeah, he shot 20% from three, but he was just really efficient there. His offense efficiency has waned, and it's made his defensive impact not as impactful because he just gets played off the court because of how much of an offensive liability he is. We need him to be a bit more efficient with his shot selection, regardless if he's a three-point shooter or not. We just need Gabe Vincent to be healthy. I don't know. With Maxwell Lewis, I loved Maxwell coming out of college. I thought he was a great player, especially with him being a Pepperdine kid. But he barely played his rookie season. And when I mean he barely played on the Lakers roster. And even on the South Bay Lakers, he played 31 games, 28 minutes a night. And it was like so for a guy who, and he came from a losing program in college. So you're hoping that he's going to take that jump and be able to make an impact. But outside of that, yeah, your Cam Reddish was a guy that was a weird one, because at 1 second it looked like they were really committed to playing him. He only played 48 games. I know injury happened, and there was moments where you thought it was going to work for a second, like in November when he was putting up, like, in those 12 games, 28 minutes a night. He was 42% from the field, 36% from three, 8 points, three rebounds, 1.5 assists, 2 steals. It was wild over that 12 game span. But like I said, I think it's continuity and hoping that, like, the roster that came up short last year was a result of the team just being ill prepared due to their coach. It seemingly seems to be the biggest thing, is what they're banking on. But if you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate your guys' loyalty and your willingness to spend time with me. I really don't have anything else to say. We're going to make this go to 8 minutes. But yeah, I think it's an interesting one when we look at the current situation of things. Certainly, this is a team that, as long as LeBron James is there, as I've always said, the goal should always be championship or bust. If it isn't, then you're kind of wasting the fact that you have LeBron James. I think that's just, everybody knows that.